What happened to you, Sissy?
I don't know. I just feel low vibrational for this episode.
What's going on?
I'm having an issue with a friend right now, and I don't know how to navigate it. So,
Alright, well, let's do our Sissy shakeout. Get it out of our system and
remember
regroup.
sound. All right, regroup. Let's get into it.
Alright.
One look, and I
See that many teams?
one touch, feels skinny.
Welcome to Tea and Ting,
With the sing.
where we sip on truth and deep dive into life's messy, beautiful, and sometimes dramatic moments. I'm Brittany,
And I'm Chelsea.
and we're here to chat about all things real,
Raw and relatable.
Let's get into it.
Welcome to Tea and Tings.
With the sings.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in every week here on YouTube and also on Spotify. Remember to like, comment, and share with your friends all over the world. We especially love the comments, guys, so
Yeah.
please keep them coming.
Yeah, today we have a special topic and an even more special guest. The topic for today is going to be friendship breakups, which I think is going to be really intense, interesting. Hopefully, even. What's the word?
Enlightening.
Enlightening and healing.
Yeah.
It's going to be healing, I hope.
Yeah, because we're definitely both going
Yeah.
through some friendship issues right now. So maybe even today we can unpack and maybe get some clarity on how to move forward in those situations.
Yeah.
Friendship is a big topic that a lot of people have messaged about, and
Yeah.
of course it is multidimensional. So while this is today's focused on breakups, other episodes will look at different dynamics of friendship. So please don't forget to submit your scenarios, your concerns on our link in bio on Instagram. There is a form there for you to, make your submissions.
Yeah, get involved. Would love to hear from you guys. All right. So our guest for today is somebody dear to my heart. Pretty much like family to me. Her name is Tia, and I'm really looking forward to introducing you guys to her and hearing her perspective on some friendship breakups and situations that she's been through. All right, guys. So again, today we have Tia with us. Tia is a dear friend of mine for years, and she's also the go-to architect and co-partner for TJK Architectural Design. She's the TJ in that company. She's the go-to person again. Like if you need anything, she's your girl, as well as Jihan. Yeah.
So Tia was selected for this specific topic because a few weeks ago we were actually just chilling at the river and talking about different friendship dynamics, and just based on the things she was saying, I was like, yeah, this,
She got it.
yeah,
She understands.
let's unpack this topic together. So Tia, welcome to Tea and Tings with the Sing.
Yes. No need to be nervous. Just let's pretend like we are at home, we're out, vibing, natural.
So to let you feel a little bit more comfortable, we're gonna do our game. We usually do a game every
Yeah.
week, so we said let's wait on Tia to do the game this time. And today's game is
What do we call it though? Because it's pretty much we're doing rose, bud, thorn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Rosebud and thorn. All right. So around the topic of friendship, what is your rose, your bud, and your thorn? Rose is clearly a memory that it's just a really fresh, happy, fun times with a friend. Thorn is clearly, something that
Whatever.
wasn't so nice.
Unpleasant is the word.
And then the bud is something, I guess that you're learning and growing out of friendship. Which one of you wants to start?
What do we start with? Thorn? Alright, let's start with rose. Sissy, you can go.
Me?
Yeah, I have to think.
I told you guys
about
I'm low vibrational today. Like, all right, rose. This week, a friend really opened that door for me. Like, I've been saying, sometimes we really just need friends to open doors for us in careers, in just relationships. Sometimes, introduce you to the man, whatever. Like, open that door. and a friend opened the door for me, and honestly, if she had not opened the door, I would not have had the opportunity I got, and that really touched me. So that is my rose. Yeah.
T, you want to go or you want me to go? You have one?
Guys, oh God, the good thing's supposed to come easier than
I know they really should, but there might be so many.
Right.
I just don't know which one
The
to.
place that I'm coming from is trying to decipher or choose which would be, a great memory.
All right, let me go and give you some
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I think for me, my rose moment memory is an ongoing one. I would say it's Brittany. Anything with
You're
Brittany.
cheating.
I'm probably cheating because it's easy. While she's my sister, she's one of my best friends. And it's just a simple calling or asking if I'm okay. Like those things make me feel special and loved all the time. So, or little flower is probably an artificial one because it just never dies. It never dies.
Oh, stop it.
Okay, so for me, I would say my rose is I had a girlfriend of mine going through one of the most difficult, like, rock bottom points in my life. At a point where I didn't even feel like I could rely so much on family based on the space that I was in and where I was. I didn't have that safety net, and she herself had a lot going on in her own life, you know what I mean? And of course, in situations, your pride get the better of you. You're not necessarily sure if you can even reach out to the person on this premise. And she created that space for me where I was able to step out and felt comfortably enough and confidently so in expressing to her what I was going through, and she literally opened her doors to me. Literally opened her doors, and it's not very often you have that encounter with people. You have friends that will say to you, boy, I'm here if you need me. Call me if you need anything. Let me know what I can do.
But can you really?
Can you really? You know what I mean? When the ball breaks and it's the 9th hour, and you really need that person or somebody, anybody to, offer you an olive branch to make you feel like, all right, there is hope, a semblance of hope. She did that for me.
So she was your rose.
Literally.
Love
when
that.
I felt like I had nowhere else to go, boy, like nowhere else
Watch
to
the ball
go.
in a start.
Seriously, because like if I could really, when I say rock bottom, guys, I literally mean like life could not have gotten any possibly worse. Like the situation could not have gotten any worse. Homeless, you know what I mean? Don't have nowhere to go, just a all around bad situation. And even at the time, we were, we always had a friendship, we were very close, but in my mind, that wouldn't have been the person I would have been or would have expected that would have, provided that outlet for me. And knowing that you also in your life have so much going on. When I say so much, also have her stuff going on. And never bat an eye. Did not bat an eye. There was no hesitation. And there was never a time it felt like, boy,
you're a burden.
You know what I mean? It was always the offering of comfort. The safe space and, the reassurance that it's tough. We all go through it. You don't have to feel no way. We're genuinely here for you. So that is my rose. That one will.
I love that.
That one will stay with me forever.
I hope everybody has a rose friend like that because that's super important.
Blessing,
honestly,
man. Blessing. I will
Wow.
never.
I love
I'll
that.
never forget.
So I guess the thorn then.
I
didn't even think of mine.
I have so many thorns. One that really sticks out for me is I had somebody who I thought was my friend, and I just poured so much into them. Like without hesitation, without question. And while going through a difficult situation, I was no longer able to pour into them the way that they needed or wanted.
Yeah.
And because of that, they literally cut me off. And that was just an eye opener for me, because I'm going through one of the most difficult situations in my life, and this person just completely shut me out because I was no longer able to give and pour into them. And I was
The
just
way
like,
that
wow,
they
this person
wanted.
genuinely don't care
You're
about
right,
me
you're
at
right.
all. Like, no care in the world. Like, you are a user, a manipulator. Like, I just could not believe it, because it was years of friendship. And I really had to sit and like reevaluate the years and just everything that we've been through. And I was just like, this person doesn't feed me in any way. So I was just like, yeah, that's a thorn, and I've gotten to a point where I've been able to pull that thorn out, fling it away, and I've moved on. No, like, I'm good, and I'm grateful that I'm in that position to be good.
Because sometimes it's really hard, it's hard to be able to realize, process, and then
It's hurtful.
it's so hurtful.
That is a friendship breakup that definitely took time and it hurt, but I'm grateful that I'm out of it and healed.
Yeah. I have a similar one. I mean, not to the extreme that Chelsea's was, but I had a friend who I thought was, no matter what, this is my homie for life, like whatever. We can always keep it real with each other. And they kept something from me that really they should have said. And the way that when they decided to tell me months later was done in obviously, like, why wouldn't you know that? And it really shook me up. Like, I just thought I could be my full self with this person, and they were being their full self with me. And to hear of something from them that was just so life-changing for them, and in a way for me too, just by the way, like, it really hurt me,
It
because
crippled you.
yeah, this person was my homie,
Yeah.
so that is my thorn that I'm still grieving that to this day. Like,
I too do have quite a few thorns.
only one this time, though.
Right. My thorn, I would say, is I had a friend, and to piggyback off of what you were saying, it's when I say this person and we did everything together. When you saw me, you saw them. When you saw them, you saw me. And I held our friendship in a very high regard, you know what I mean? And I would feel, or I would expect that, when you have a friend and, you guys, you're supposed to be able to bounce ideas off of each other. You're supposed to want to pour, like you said, pour into each other, If you feel like you're at a point of stagnation, you want to encourage or, brainstorm, think about how best, you can do things or progress in life or, just life-changing conversations. And it was myself, my friend, and my sister. And, we were all kind of going through a very pivotal time in our lives, and we're like, let's have a conversation. Like, where do you see yourself at this time? Where do you see yourself at this time? What do you think you could do to accomplish this? Not only what do you think, but what are you going to intentionally do to accomplish these things? So in my mind, I thought that we were having a very productive and constructive conversation. We're trying to nurture and pour into each other, and what would you say, upful conversation, right? And little did I know that's not how it was received. And time was passing, and reaching out as I normally would, just to, our conversation. And I realized, like, I wasn't hearing back from the person, like, communication completely stopped. And I was like, this is strange. At the time, I wasn't living here, I was kind of back and forth. And, I was coming home, And I reached out still, I was like, hey, it's not like me to be home and you not know that I'm here.
Right.
I don't know what's going on, but just let you know I'm here, whatever. And still nothing. Just to fast forward, we're not gonna delve too far into it, but came to find out that the conversation that we had in that moment, she took it as a personal attack. She said that she felt as though I was talking down to her, and so because of it, she decided that we were no longer friends. And for me, that was very heartbreaking because I felt like it was a very open conversation and that it was an exchange. And also, if that was how she felt, I would have hoped that I was a friend enough to her that you would have come to me and say, hey, I didn't like what you did or how you spoke to me, or you know what I mean? But instead,
this is bringing up a lot of feelings.
Right, just completely closed up. And I was just like, that hurt me because this is, like I said, this is somebody I hold dear to my heart. And I would have never imagined that even if our relationship was to disintegrate, dissipate, but I wouldn't have thought that that's the basis on which it would have. So that one really broke my heart, especially because I thought it was something
you were doing out of love.
Out of love, And to
Girl,
the point
I've been
where,
there.
Yeah, and I was asking, I had to ask some people that were close to me, to help me understand maybe I didn't see where I was going wrong, or I guess in that sense to validate me then. And so that was my thorn.
Yeah.
I think it takes me back to like episode 1 where I was like, if you feel away, let me know you feel away. Like, I want to be in spaces and friendships and relationships where we're comfortable enough to have those kind of conversations, those hard conversations. Like, if I've done something to offend you, let me know, because 9 times out of 10, I might be oblivious. Like, just how you had no idea that your friend was feeling some type of way and she just cut you off like that.
I need somebody that had to come and tell me that.
Honestly, let's just get into the topic because we'll do the bloom at the end. Because
we never do the bloom.
We never do the bloom.
Oh, you mean the body? We don't do the body.
Whatever, the next thing. Because I think what you're bringing up right now is been one of the biggest challenges in friendship for me. Is so I have a very similar situation, and I really hope she watches this show, because one of my bridesmaids, one of my bridesmaids, I loved her to and I one day brought up something that I thought I was coming from a place of love. And maybe 2 days later, she messaged me and said, you clearly don't love or care for me. I'm ending this relationship, whatever. And honestly, I really was just like, I was very torn up about it. And I don't think she knows how much.
And I don't think, sorry, go ahead.
And honestly, I really don't believe I was wrong. Because I really was saying it from a place of concern and love, and this was my sister.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I've never forgotten that.
I don't think you're over it.
I've never been over it.
Yeah.
And
Sissy.
it really was not intended to hurt her. And
No, I get it.
sometimes I see her and we just, kind of thing. And it shouldn't have even gotten there, because you should have just said that why this thing hurt me, So, and I would never have done anything to hurt her, So I think that a breakdown in relationships always comes because people are not just really communicating in that moment too. Like, this is how you made me feel, and then move on from it. And sometimes friendships don't need to move on.
I was about to say, I literally
sometimes they don't need to move on, and we have moved on, and clearly it just was not meant to continue and progress. But
It hurts.
It still hurts.
It still hurts, and it
Let me-
never have to go there,
let me
you
tell
know?
you something.
So,
I don't know. Friendship breakups, they mash me up more than any love interest breakup. Because to me, friendships are I think they're so fundamental. They're so foundational. Even if you're in an intimate relationship, if the friendship is where it
It's
goes
the core,
from.
it's the foundation,
It's
yeah.
the core of everything. And when I say it has also attributed to how I interact with people, how close off I choose to be with people, it's because like it really hurts when those friendships end. It take a part of you, because
Yeah.
you've reached a certain level of vulnerability with a complete stranger. Like you guys have gotten to a place, such an intimate space where you love each other, and you can be so candid, and it really hurts. It's a different kind of hurt, and it's like they have to happen sometimes. Because
They do.
it also teaches you how to navigate, because just like you were saying, there are some friendships, even though us within ourselves, we want them to last a lifetime, or expectancies that they're going to last forever. Adulthood has taught me that nothing lasts forever. That's one. Two, everything has their season. Right? Meaning that you can have this friend for a long time and it end boop.
Yeah.
And then you can meet somebody brand new, like later on in life, and you guys walk in sync.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I say to say that everything happens. Everything has its season, and some relationships, friendships, otherwise business, intimate relationships. Every relationship serves a purpose.
Yeah.
Every relationship has their season. In that, this relationship maybe was brought about for you to learn something from. Whether to learn something from them or learn about yourself.
Right. Which brings me to
Right.
like this thing on TikTok I saw this week. This lady was saying she had like a friend that was just so good to her. Like this person, like the same way you explain your rose, like that was like that person was a rose. But she ended the friendship because she admitted on the TikTok, I wasn't mature enough and in love with myself enough to receive that kind of care and love.
Wow.
And I thought that was so profound, because oftentimes we're looking at the other person like, you end the friendship, you do this, you never show up. But like us showing up as friends is also important. And it made me think of like, I think at that stage when that friendship ended, maybe I can say I wasn't the friend I am to my friends now.
Okay.
And that's because I surrounded myself with women who knew how to be a friend. So they taught me.
Right.
And that's my Tuesday morning girl group. Big up, guys. Like, we were up from all different walks of life. We had never met before, but they taught me how to show up.
Showing up is so important.
Because sometimes we think we're good friends.
Right.
And we're not good friends. And
Yeah.
I can admit I am a work
for
in
sure.
progress. Like some
think we
friends
all
I'm
are,
like,
right?
yo, me not do what she do,
You're right.
Also, a husband, pick me, time, like, bruv,
yeah.
give me space.
Right.
But
Yeah.
when I do show up, I am aware I have to be intentional. I need to hold space for you. I need truth from you as much as I give truth. I'm also learning not everything I need for say, because I'm the type of person that just talk.
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered. My family says I am like a leaky, fridge, and I just say my brother calls me a leaky fridge. Because sometimes I don't have no filter.
Right.
I think you also have to know your friend and how they want you to show up.
Yeah.
How you show up for me is not how you're gonna show up for somebody else.
Right.
Like you have to know
Yeah.
that. You have to know your friend.
And the friends that really know me, they're like, all right, Brittany, I need the filtered version today. I don't need you to tell me the truth. Just like butter it up.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I think even like not mommy is my friend, obviously. Love her. And there are times when I'll come to her about something, or I'm talking about you and a situation and she's getting into therapy mode, and I'm like, mommy, we don't want the therapy mommy. I want my mommy, I want my friend, you know? So you have to know how to show up in a different situation.
Right.
So I really, sometimes I'm like, no mommy, like you can't say that to Brittany right now. That's not going to help her. That's not what she wants. So yeah, I think going back to say, like, you have to know how to show up.
Yeah, like how you have to do the work to be a friend. So just like in a marriage, a relationship, like
100%.
and every friend is a different work you have to do on yourself.
Some friends are more needy than others and need the everyday conversations, while some friends, like Tia and I, we can probably go a year without even speaking. And then the day we link up is like, oh, clearly we've been talking every day.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, just to go back to your point, you know, you were saying, you know, you have to know your friends. Knowing your friends are very important because, like you said, everybody's requirements in terms of how you nurture that friendship varies. The dynamics are so different. And I'm so grateful for my tribe, for, you know, understanding when I'm going through the ebbs and woes of, you know,
off
the
the
emotions,
grid.
and I completely isolate, and you know what I mean? It's not great.
It's
you know
not
what I mean?
great,
It's stuff that you still have to learn about yourself, but what I can appreciate is that they create the space in allowing me to navigate those emotions. And when it come the time, they will say to me, hey, you know, what's going on? You know what I mean? So I appreciate my friends.
And
for
a
that.
big thing in that here is that we also have to be able to communicate that to the people in our lives. Like, I am going through this time right now. This is how I need you to show up. Or I don't know how I need you to show up right now.
Yeah,
And oftentimes what happens is you go off the grid
Yeah,
and then nobody know if you show up for you, and then all of a sudden, I don't have no friends. Nah, bitch, you didn't communicate.
Right.
Like,
I probably struggle in that where I will go off the grid and I don't communicate. And it's something that I have to acknowledge. Even going through, I don't want to call it a friendship breakup because I'm gonna fight for the friendship, but it's one that I'm going through now where I kind of went off the grid and I did not communicate with her, and she took it personal. But I'm keeping myself accountable. I know it's something I have to work on, and I'm hoping that when she is ready to talk about it, that, you know, she knows I'm here. So it goes back to you saying, at least communicate and let them know that, yeah, going through this, give me some time, let me get back to you, whatever the case is. So I'm living that right now. So I would definitely say that communication thing is huge. Like, yeah, it's okay to go off the grid, but communicate.
And you see, that's another part of it too. So for me, why I tend to isolate is my perception is I'm going through this. I imagine everybody else also has their plate full. And then I don't want to offload and burden you with my issues. But I have a friend that pointed it out to me one time, and they're just like, Tio, what am I to you if I can't be that for you? That's what our friendship is about. We're not going to be up all the time. And if there is a moment where you feel like you're drowning, I should be able to throw you a life raft.
yeah.
So if you have to withhold that from me, or you don't feel like you can come to me and offload, then what is the point?
Yeah. I think you at the last cooking and conversations, I had mentioned at the table, the same Tuesday girls taught me what you need to say is, you know,
Do you have the space?
do you have the space or capacity to hear what I have to say right now? And in asking that, be prepared for your friend to say no. Because I know, like, I'm thinking of one specific friend now, I have not had the space and capacity to hold space for her. I know she needs it, but I don't have a lifeboat to right now. So I would have to say, you know, I love you. I know you're going through a hard time, but I can't hold space for you. And sometimes those conversations cause friend breakups because people need you more than you can give. But if you can't have those conversations,
Yeah.
what is the point of the
Yeah.
friendship?
And
Yeah.
to go back to the same thing when we had the original, the dinner, the cooking and the conversations, you had brought it up, and I had said my best friend and I, because we had these, we had these exchanges, these back and forths where she would tell me, I feel like you're not showing up for me, and I'd be like, shit, I feel like you're not showing up for me, and then we kind of, unpacked everything, and we're just like, well, we're just both going through it, and we're just not communicating with each other. And then she had come to me and she said, hey, let's do this. If I text you and I say, can I get 8 minutes?
I think I've seen that, the
Yeah.
8-minute thing.
Right. And it's either yes or no, and the no isn't taken personally. You know what I mean? It's tough though, because not everybody is at a place where they can accept
Yeah.
the no and not take it personally. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that's how we kind of learn to navigate those things, especially because it's a long distance,
Yeah,
friendship.
my best friend and I would do the 8 minutes, but I think we naturally fell into
into
it.
it,
Like,
yeah.
do you have time now?
Yeah.
Or, like, even yesterday she called me and I offloaded, but she really called me to offload,
yeah.
and then she was like, all right, I know you just did that, but I also have to offload.
my
So
turn.
it's the communication
Right.
around it that is so important.
Yeah,
I never used to do it at all, but the day you did it to me, when you told me you can't take me on, I was like, wow. I was like, my sister can't take me on. But it also made me look within, like, not everybody is gonna be able to give you that space when
And
you
it's
need
not
it.
take on. I just
I
couldn't
know
hold it
you
that
couldn't
way.
hold it, yeah. And I fully got it, and it was a lesson for me because now I do it with my friends. I might forget to do it sometimes and just offload, but then I catch myself and I'm like, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Right.
But do you have time for me to go on? So it's a lesson that I've learned.
Can life be
And I
life,
love
you?
that lesson, yeah,
Listen.
because a lot of the times I don't have the time. I really don't have the capacity, and I don't have the space.
It's not even the time, it's sometimes the emotional
Yeah,
capacity.
Yeah, it's the emotional
That's what-
capacity.
Because especially if you're an empath, like,
And
I
I
have a take
am,
on
oh
while
my
going with my
gosh.
friend, right?
Yeah.
And I can't, I have a pick me and husband for show up for two.
Yeah.
Like, I can't take it on. And also my work,
Yeah.
I am literally holding people's
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So, and it's not to make an excuse, because I think sometimes people will say, oh, you're just making an excuse, you're just not a good friend. Or I would, the biggest thing to friendship breakups, the sentence, I wouldn't do that to you. Bruv, we're two different people.
Right.
We're gonna
My
handle
life is not your
situations
life.
differently.
Exactly.
Right? Like one of my friends actually said that to me today, and I was saying earlier that this is actually my bloom, because she said that to me, and I said, I'm in a season of protecting my space, my boundaries, and you are forcing me into something that doesn't look
Or
align with that for me right now. And it is not that I don't love you and I want to support and honor you, but that means putting myself last.
Right.
And are you being a friend when you put me in?
Put
Not
in a
forcing
pace.
you to break
And
that.
she was just like, oh, okay, Brittany, when you put it like that. And I was like, it is like that.
It's a matter of perspective. A lot of
And
times,
I love you and I will be there for you. I just can't show up like that right now. Yeah. And again, it's just having, to me, if you can't have the hard conversations,
Oh my gosh.
and you're not operating on the same vibration, sometimes it just means that it have to
Yeah, just have to-
fizzle out. And I know I'm saying that, and the team is looking at me with the situation because the low energy came today and I offloaded on them. But yeah,
It's the hard conversation.
It's a hard
If you
Yeah.
can't have it, like,
That means it's superficial. And
yeah, and
it's
I'm not
really
in
where
that
it's supposed
space
to
where I
be,
want
yeah.
that in my life. I
No.
really am not.
if you can't call me out on it, then like what we do, and then you go just pretend like we're not friends, and then I'm wondering what happened, and bruv,
Yeah, no.
We're not in that age and space anymore.
yeah,
We really
like one of
aren't.
my friends said to me the other day, she never bring it up because she didn't want to change the friendship dynamic. But to me,
It's
it's
fake
like
already. Done gone bad now.
to me, it's like we could have gone deeper in the
Yeah.
friendship if you had And
Yeah.
if it ended, it meant that we were not standing on solid ground anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a friend who I would even call her family. We stopped talking for a year or more probably, but it was an unspoken thing. You know, the
Right.
connection just kind of
Died
faded.
out,
It
yeah.
died down. I knew why she felt the way she felt, but I wasn't bold enough or brave enough to be like, yo, like, I miss you. I know what I did. Can we work on it? And eventually I did, because I truly missed her. And it took us just having that really hard, difficult
yeah.
conversation. And now she's back to being one of my best friends, my family, and everything. So, like, you really have to, if you truly love the person, have those hard
Yeah.
conversations. Because sometimes that's literally all it
All it
takes.
takes.
Sometimes they just want to be heard, you know? So I would definitely encourage the hard
The
conversations.
I actually have a friendship breakup that's in the hard conversation.
You guys
We
rekindled?
said no.
Oh.
We agreed it wasn't worthwhile. I wouldn't say worthwhile, but we just knew
You were at
we
a point
couldn't
where-
continue.
Right.
The season
And
was
this
over.
was one of
Yeah,
my
this is
best
also-
friends from high school.
Yeah.
And I was okay with it because we had the hard conversation.
Right.
And I love her to this day. We'll still be like, all right, you're
Yeah.
cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And because of how it ended,
Right.
there is still deep love there. There is still deep respect there. Like, I still believe if shit was to hit the fan, I could still say,
yeah,
yo,
man.
you know? But because we had the hard conversation, that has given it
The space for it
The
to
space
continue
to
in that way without
be-
having to be that
the
way.
space for it to be different.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hard conversations have to happen, whether they end or continue.
Yeah.
What is the point of not saying it
To continue
and then
on.
causing contention for it to
Yeah.
lead into a place that it never had to
go,
be?
yeah.
Why can't we just be civil? You know? Yeah.
Another spin or something I thought about, and I think I asked you earlier this week. Like T, you mentioned earlier that friendship breakups hurt more than like an intimate relationship, right? So for me, what I've found is like, why is it so much easier for us to rekindle our intimate relationships and not a friendship breakup? Like, why is it that we're so quick to like, all right, let's fix shit with my man, like,
Right.
but then
We're
with your
so
friend, you're
empathetic
like,
to the
eh.
foolishness, but with the friend, it's like, Jano. You know what I think?
You gonna forgive that man, but you ain't forgiving the
You know
friend.
what it is, though? I think, and it may be received, I guess, depending on who and your intellectual.
Yeah, I was about to
But
say that.
I think it is that we hold our friends at a higher standard in a way.
I know where you're going,
In
yeah.
terms of our expectation of them, not to say that the expectation of your partner is minimal, but I feel like with our friends, especially if you've had that friend for a very long time, the basis and the foundation, you just expect more things from them, and the things that probably cause discourse or disarray or confusion or the breakup, you just wouldn't expect that from them. You know what I mean? I feel like that's where it comes from. I don't know, maybe I'm trying to validate but I feel like that's where it comes from. I feel like for me, my friends, I hold the bar very high. Very high. You know, they say you don't have expectations of people and whatever. No, my friends, when I let you into a certain space in my life, it's because I see you above anything else.
Yeah.
You're in a space that nobody gets to see that side of you. Your friends, though, well, you still call them the word friend
Very loosely,
I don't
yeah.
understand, yeah.
No,
some
my
people wouldn't
yeah.
necessarily understand.
If you're my friend, you
how
know you're my
deep-rooted
friend.
The word friend, the
Yeah.
relationship of your friend means to me. You know, people throw it around and like, oh, I'm a friend. Oh, I'm a
Yeah.
friend. You say, hi, I'm a friend. No. My friends, my tribe. You know what I mean? And that's why it hurts. So I feel like the standard, the bar is really high. And that's why it hurts so much. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, of course, you set the bar expectation for your partner.
I don't know if for
I
me
don't
it
know.
hurts as much, which I think is a thing for my, like, one of my friends has said to me, you know, you're okay just losing friends because, you know, you have your sister. So, I think when I was growing up, in high school, I went to an all-girls school and there were always girl groups, right?
Yeah.
And I never had a group. Like, I sat with a group, but I didn't feel like I belonged to the group.
Feel you,
Yeah.
100%.
So I've never had, like, girlfriends, solid, like, a group. I've had, like, individuals in different
Yeah.
places, right? And for me, I think different friends serve different parts of me and different versions. Like, I wouldn't say versions, but like they're friends I have that I know.
You compartmentalize.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing, maybe
No,
it's a bad
sometimes
thing, I
it's
don't know.
good.
I compartmentalize. So it's very easy for me to be like, okay, this really hurt me and the door is closed, but moving right along in the news. And I don't know, and maybe that's totally unhealthy.
Moving right along in the
But
news.
I've been hurt so much by girlfriends
Yes.
that for me it's like I can't hold on to this. Like, all right. But then in my adult life, I'd say in the last 3 to 4 years, the friendships I have, and I said this at my birthday last year, the people I call friend right now,
Do not.
I love you all
Yes.
so deeply that, you know, I've shared things with them. I'm like, I don't know, the same question Chelsea asked. There's some things I tell my friends, me not tell my husband, because he's not even prepared
So
to
that's-
hear
that's what I'm
certain parts of
saying.
me.
So that's what I'm
You know?
saying. So that's why.
So I don't know if I've experienced like feeling what you're saying.
Right.
I mean, granted, the first friend I just bawled over.
Right.
That was.
Right.
It was just because that was the first time somebody I loved so deeply just take with themselves from me, whereas everybody else I was just like meh, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe that could have been the catalyst to why you're that way. now.
Maybe I don't know,
So-
but I feel like, and it could be my work.
Yeah.
And I think I said to you guys earlier before we started recording, because of my work, I see the person's pain before I see the pain they've caused me.
You're right.
So I
Yeah.
tend to say, this person
They're
is hurting, and I know it's not a me thing.
Right.
It doesn't negate that I am hurt,
Right.
but it makes it a little easier for me to say,
to manage and
To
cope
manage it.
and
Yeah,
heal
not take
from
it
it.
personally.
Yeah.
and you know, even a situation came up maybe 2 years ago. A friend and I kick off, and I literally used that approach, and over time it just all came back together, like, you know. So I guess my next question to you guys would be like, at what point is it okay? Because Chelsea say, if you feel away, say you feel away. But how do you know? Like, I don't even know. Like, how do you know? And it comes back to the same vibrational thing I was saying. Like, sometimes people not on your wavelength for them to hear what you have
Yeah.
to say. But does that answer the question? Like, should it just end then if they're not on the same wavelength? Like,
I think it still takes a conversation. And if the conversation doesn't go anywhere, then
that's
whatever.
the
I think for
answer.
me, I always
Right.
want some kind of closure.
Yeah. But sometimes you try to run down the closure and
Oh no, but if I have to run it down, you know, it's not happening. If I reach out to you and I want to have the conversation and you're not ready, and if I have to keep coming back to you, that's it for me.
okay.
You know, like, I'm not running you down. I'm not running down not one soul. I'll run down Craig and Brittany. Because like,
but
I
this
will
is the same thing I say in my friends say, because I have a sibling. I'm like, meh, I'm not run you down. Because I'll just go call Chelsea and cry on the couch, moving.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yes, there's some friends I'll run down. There's some friends. And it's sad that, you know, I have to have them on different wavelengths and whatever, but yeah, like if I have to continue to be running you down over and over and over, you're clearly not in a space to receive me or to rekindle, so I'm going to leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because that's also going to exhaust me at the end of the
And
day.
then build resentment.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's just some of them. It's not worth it to run everybody down. You know.
My feelings. I'm thinking of
Shambles.
I'm in shambles today, guys.
No, it's a lot. lot, you know, emotionally. There's a lot of
You have to do, it's like, I hate the fact that you have to do so much self-work
yes,
Yeah.
in friendships too.
yeah. It's
But I think the biggest thing is like also giving people grace,
Yes.
because like we're all in so many different seasons, and taking things personal all the time doesn't help the situation.
Like this. And I was about to say, like, I've also had to learn myself that not everything that happens in a friendship that's bad, or you know, where somebody becomes withdrawn, is because of you. Like, you know, it's not always personal.
Yeah.
Like, they are also probably just navigating and don't know how to, and just need to take the time to take a step back and reassess and reevaluate, regroup, and come back.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's about not taking it personally.
Unless you really did do
Unless
something.
unless he did something. And giving them that grace, giving them space, understanding, and the compassion. You know what I mean? And if it does get to a point now where you do feel like it's a personal attack, then we're coming full circle now,
Exactly.
guys. You have the uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's also been a growing pain for me. You know what I mean? Because you know, I feel things so deep, and I feel like, oh, you know, you stop, you know, you move, or you withdrawn, and you whatever, and I'm just like, you're such a hypocrite. Because when you go through your shit and you become withdrawn, you expect that when you come back around, people should just understand and not take it personally, because it doesn't have anything to do with them. It's a you thing. So I had to realize that in myself and hold myself accountable in that sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, there's so many moving parts, so many dynamics to friendships, and you know, understanding yourself, learning yourself, you know, acknowledging things about yourself.
Which I think is why a lot of people probably don't own, like, let's say you're the one that hurt the person, you have to actually own that you made them, and be big enough to say, I'm so sorry.
And a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
And I think, how do you know, like, how do you like, if I'm wrong, I really do try, like, I'm like, yeah, I really want to fix it. But then what if I am hurt by someone that can't own that they're wrong? Like,
Recently. Why not leave me alone? So, alright, I feel like in that sense, you said if you're hurt, right?
I'm hurt.
And you want to have that conversation, but you know it's a situation where you weren't the one that was in the wrong, that they were, and they're not of the mindset to acknowledge that they were wrong. For me, I would say, if you create a space for you and the person to have the conversation, even if you're reluctant in so doing, but you do create that space, and they, you know, you try to have the conversation, you probably aired your grievance, or how, you know, they probably made you feel hurt or slighted, and they within themselves still are unable or unwilling to acknowledge where they fell short, to be like, shit, you know, I didn't look at it that way. And just be able to be like, oh damn, I messed up. Then
I think that's the answer right there. You know,
Good
creating the space. It's okay for you to create the space. While you're not wrong, you are creating that space to have that conversation. And whether they take it left or right.
I was about to say, or on the flip side, even if they're not able to say, boy, okay, I see where I could have went wrong, and they're just hard and fast in believing that, hey, I don't
Then
feel
that's
like
the
what I
answer
did
too.
was wrong,
That's the
then
answer.
that's the answer too.
Exactly.
But you've now created that space where the conversation could be had. You were transparent in letting them know, hey, as my friend, this is how I feel. This is what you did. I didn't like it, and I'm hoping that we can find a way to move forward.
Yeah.
And if them can't, if it's either they're gonna be like, oh, you know, boy, I didn't know, thanks for telling me, now I know that that's what I did. Now we can figure out how to better communicate moving forward, or them will just say, I said what I said, and I don't think I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And then in that way, whichever way it turns, you now know where you guys stand and how to now navigate that relationship.
Which is kind of what happened with you and your friend, where you said you didn't even know she felt that way about whatever.
And you know what? Going back to that, even though the person wasn't even the one that came and told me.
Oh yeah, right. You did say that.
They didn't come and tell me, I heard it. I still reached out. I reached out and I sent a very long message.
Mm-hmm.
I sent like an encyclopedia because because for me, I also feel like as a friend, clearly I let you down because you didn't feel
safe
enough to come and tell me that yourself.
I actually said that to my friend the other day. I'm so sorry you didn't feel like you could say it to me. I've clearly not built a space for you to feel that way, and that made me feel bad.
Girl, I sent a message and I said, boy, a conversation that I felt was coming from a place of love, and that was meant to, encourage, a more progressive mindset, and, together, not even just individually, but together, grow together. I'm sorry that, I made you feel like I was belittling you, because that was never my intention. And it even hurts more so that you didn't feel like you could come and say it to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't that one, girl.
Yeah.
That really. And I see the person now, and it's like, and it's an unnerving feeling, you know what I mean? Very unnerving, because it almost feels like an outer body experience to know that you and somebody shared such intimate space for a very long time, and it's now been diminished to
Nothing.
Over something that could have been such an easy conversation. But that's coming back to the point now. I realized that it wasn't a me thing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
But I'm usually aware it's not a me thing. It just still pisses me
But
off.
the thing is, sometimes when you're trying to decipher and dissect what happened and where it went wrong, a lot of times you kind of hold or say, like, what did I do? What could I have done? Was it me? So for a long time, I was like, Jano, what did I do?
Yeah.
As a friend, what did I do, or what didn't I do?
What didn't, right?
You know what I mean? And having conversations with people, all the mentors, like my sister as well, because it really mashed me up. I was mulling over in my mind, going in circles, trying to figure out what went wrong.
Where it went wrong, yeah.
What did I do? And my stepfather, big up himself, he had to look at me and he said, T, you have to understand that in life, you either outgrow people, or your friends serve
the
season in your life. Not everything ending is a bad thing, and you have to also understand that sometimes people are doing work on themselves, and they're not at a space to acknowledge that they are the ones that, or their shortcomings is what's holding them back.
That is a lesson there, girl.
Right. And that it's not you, even though you're the one that's being made out to be the problem. Like you're the scapegoat. You're the one. You're the reason she felt small. She felt like you were talking down to her. That's not what it was. It was because for her, the conversation maybe touched a sensitive spot where she probably felt like she wasn't
triggered.
living right.
Yeah.
Maybe there's stuff that she wants to get done or accomplished in her life, and she probably felt like she fell short. And that conversation maybe triggered her, and I'm the one that
Unearthed it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things. Grace. And when we give people grace, we must also give ourselves grace.
Facts, girl.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Girl, we can sit here all day.
This topic is heavy for me.
Heavy. No, it's very heavy.
Yeah.
It's very heavy. It's very, very heavy. Like, and it's not just one, it's more than one friendship breakups that I've gone through that really mashed me up. And my sister, big up yourself, Kia, has been my cornerstone, because we do have exchanges where she's also kind of opened up to me about stuff that she's also encountered with her friendships, you know what I mean? And so I feel like she is she had her credentials to be my voice a reason. You know what I mean?
A good soundboard.
Yeah, she's a great soundboard for me, because And she's more understanding. Between the two of us, people will always say she's the sweet and I'm the sour. Like, I am her pit bull. Anybody play with her, listen. So
Which one of us is sweet?
I don't know.
crickets.
I think maybe me more.
I don't know between the two of you. I
No,
don't
Chelsea's
know.
definitely the nice sister, but she can also be the sour one.
Yeah.
Chelsea's so like.
I'm definitely not the sweet one, for sure.
You're not sweet.
My resting bitch face is just not
Yeah,
gonna
you're
let
not
anybody
sweet.
think that. I'm not sweet.
I think I'm sweet. Like, I'm nice. I give off nice.
I don't.
But
give
just
off
know
nice.
yourself.
Right.
You know?
Well, fair. I think
Yeah.
that the last part, just know yourself.
Yeah.
What am I though? I'm not nice.
Where it counts.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, she has helped me navigate a lot of those situations. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, they're difficult for me. Like, I go through some serious, like,
Yeah.
emotional warfare with it because, you know, you're trying to.
That's because you're a warrior too.
I guess. But yeah, she has created that space where she's been able to advise me in how to navigate when those things happen, because it does take a toll. Emotionally, it really wears on you.
Yeah.
And
Which is why sisterhood is so important and why we're
Exactly.
doing this.
yeah, no, it
And
is.
for those who don't have sisters, like those friends that are your sisters, you
Sisters,
need to build that
listen to me.
authenticity. There needs to be that one person that is like, we can't just live in isolation.
Cannot.
So,
Which is
you
why
know?
I big up to Uno too to start the community, because
Yeah.
and I said it when we had the original, the cooking and the community.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I was very apprehensive, like, you know, because I'm just
See,
like,
I was not gonna show up.
A lot of them said they weren't gonna come
I was
again.
I'm
Especially
like,
when they walked in the room and saw this big production, they're like, wait a second.
it's not even just that. It's just like I said, sharing space.
Being vulnerable.
And the vulnerability, I'm very selective about that, because you know, you go through these experiences and from people that you would never expect it to come from, and then to be around. For me, I think women are just so catty. Like the competition, the underlying competition, and the between women. I think it's
Another topic
it's
for another day.
right. You know what I mean? I feel like it's so destructive because we women, we are the shit, and if we really did band together and you know
Yeah.
really navigate life the way it would go, like
Yeah.
we would be unstoppable. Like sisterhood is so important,
Yeah.
and I feel like a lot of energy is
spent on things we don't need to be.
need to be
Yeah.
doing. You know what I mean? So when you guys came up with it, I was just like, I was like, Chelsea, who are gonna be there? Because you know what I mean. But right, you know, it's like being in that space. You guys have now created something that's so beautiful, and it's just it really depends on the person who is ready to receive that kind
You
of
have to be
community.
ready.
And I said to
Exactly, you
Chelsea,
have
like,
to
you
be
know, when we
ready.
have our events, like, not everybody is gonna want to come.
Right, and that's okay.
But the people that come will be the right people, because
Right.
those people are ready to unpack.
Right.
They're ready to get
receive.
real with themselves,
Right,
and
really yourself and get
yeah.
to a point in your life where
yeah,
you need to be
yeah,
elevated mindset,
Yeah.
like
higher vibration.
high up, and you know.
I told them today I'm out of the matrix. Like,
right, and you know, you say
come
some
join
stuff-
me outside.
you say some stuff, and it seems almost like, oh, it sounds cliche and high vibration and
No,
high
it's
mindset,
real
but
though.
it's not. It's a real thing, because people throw it around so much. The meaning and the significance is diminished to nothing. But
Yeah.
those who get it, get it.
Mm-hmm.
Those who get it, they get it.
Yeah.
And you said something so profound earlier, and you said it a while ago. You have removed yourself from the matrix, and that's a big deal. I was saying it to Chelsea. I'm like, when you're able to identify that you are a part of it, and do the work to not remove
Yeah,
yourself.
it's been a journey, bruv.
Listen,
One day we talk about that episode.
right, and then when you're able to remove yourself
Yeah.
now,
Yes, there's still more work.
not only that,
Yeah.
you know, when you remove yourself, your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
There's a major shift in your mindset, and you will find that even relationships that you had are so close knit and so ingrained, you can't necessarily associate with them
Right.
anymore mentally
Facts.
because
That's
your,
very true.
your mental, your intellectual capacity has now shifted
It's
to a
shifted,
completely
yeah.
different.
Yeah, for
some,
sure.
some chapters, some books,
Yeah.
some
And
friendship
it- and it-
seasons have to end.
And it will feel so like an outer body thing. You're gonna be like, yo, what the hell is happening? Like you
Yeah.
feel like
So actually, when I became a Christian, I really developed the skill or the
discernment.
Yeah, the spirit of discernment. And I was in so many spaces, especially I had a friend at the time, and every time I was around him, it's like I just got heebie-jeebies, and I was like, I love this friend. Like, I don't want the friendship to end, but like, but my body and my spirit was
Yeah.
like, listen, Linda. And then it's like time went by when eventually I realized and learned. He openly shared, he practices.
whatever him practice.
Yeah, whatever him practice. And it's like God just was like, nah, sis,
yeah.
no, I look at it as, it's just spirit. We must just trust his
cleansing.
spirit,
Yeah,
right?
that's all it is.
And sometimes that's okay too, but I think my regret though is not having a conversation with him that, we're no
Right.
longer aligned. And again, it just comes back to the same thing, like, talk it out and formally end it and make it something beautiful where there is no hate involved in it.
I love
And-
that.
You know?
And I'm gonna say something too. Sometimes not everything warrants a conversation. And
I
sometimes
guess,
you
but
have to
as Chelsea
understand
said earlier, like the closure thing,
I need
bro.
closure.
And I get that.
all the time,
No, I
like-
100%. The natural human instinct or human nature, it's innate. We always want closure. We want to know, say, all right, this didn't work because of this. But I've also had to learn that sometimes you just have to let it be.
I just feel like that's more painful.
It is. Sometimes
That's more
it is.
painful.
The unknowing is painful.
Yeah.
But sometimes not everything deserves a
Deserves.
conversation.
That's it. And we have to be aware of the deserve.
Right.
Like, the question is like, is this a friend that you want to keep?
important enough.
And I think the only times it don't deserve is when it really is a destructive situation. I think
Right.
some of the
Or
ones
if it's just truly disrespectful. Like,
truly, yeah.
Right.
But there's some of them, like the ones I think we all unpacked today,
Right.
that really do clearly deserved a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's important in these friendship breakups to just have that. And
So how
own
long
it.
do you wait?
Hear this one, girl?
So I'm in the wrong. How long am I supposed to wait?
And you know what? It really boils down to you. If you are able to acknowledge that you're in the wrong, bite the bullet and say,
I've
hey,
bit the bullet. I've acknowledged.
And
I've
they don't receive
and
communicated.
you've approached.
They have semi-received and said that they still don't know what to say to me and they need time.
well,
How
So
much
when-
time is time?
when them take the time, you gave the olive branch.
Yeah.
It's not on you
Yeah,
anymore.
it's not on you anymore.
It's not on you, girl.
Yeah.
You have created the space. And you hadn't put any stipulations on them to say, hey, because that's another thing sometimes.
Or
need
you
to,
could
know,
reach out again and say, hey, I'm still here. I just want to let you know I'm still here.
Yeah, that's
I
fair too.
still, my heart is still open to receiving, where this can go.
But it don't mean you do it a million times.
No, but I already expressed that. I'm not running anybody down. So I just want to know, like, what is time? How much time?
What is time? Get out of the matrix.
It's a concept.
So, with that being said, I think we have shared. We never even need, I guess, tea friend today. We were the tea. We have shared and unpacked and really opened our hearts to. I hopefully our listeners have gotten something
And
from
hopefully
this
you've gotten some
experience.
healing.
Do you too?
Yeah, all of
I feel
us.
like we're all
Yeah,
in
I
some
think it's
kind of
something
way.
everybody experiences at one point or another. And so it's just important to be true to yourself in that process and own where you went wrong. And again, just every week, I say it, communicate, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, tea.
Thanks for having tea with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys. I was so nervous. I mean, vulnerability is a big thing for me, but you guys have created a space. And, I feel like we do have a relationship, where you've made me feel comfortable. And I do hope some of the gems. People can relate, and they could take something from it. It was helpful in some way, and I just pray for everybody healing, because we're all going through it. As we've been saying, you hear it everywhere. Life is life in. As much as you give people grace, give yourself grace. It's just compassion and understanding, and don't take everything too personally.
Yeah. Thanks, Tia. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So that was such a good conversation. Of course, I started low vibrational, but now I'm feeling like
Rejuvenated.
Yeah, and I can have a conversation.
Yeah.
What was your bud?
My bud, I would have to say, is Tia. I'll use her as my example. I think our bud is ever growing. As I mentioned, Tia and I can go forever without having any form of communication. But I know I've learned with her, like, she shows up. If I need her, she's there. And that's something that I'm super grateful for with her. So as I said, like, it's just a bud. It's, with orchids, it takes forever to like fully bloom. But it's not to say that we have not bloomed, but she's just always that person that I know is in my corner, no matter the time, the distance, she's always there.
I don't know if I want to point out a specific person, but I do want to say that in the relationships that I do have, that we should always have a budding mindset, because our friendships can go different places and in different seasons, and if it doesn't bud into that season, that's okay too. So I think being open to, I think Mommy alluded to it last week, you should be excited to learn about the person and as they grow and evolve. And I think we should take the same stance with our friends. Like, who is the person you're becoming right now?
Yeah.
But does that align with me? Maybe, maybe not. And that's okay.
Yeah,
So-
I think even with that evolving, I think you and I have evolved over the years and just gotten closer over the years, the things that we experienced
I
together.
mean,
things
the
that we
viewers
share.
need to know I had to go to therapy. Like,
She's
I
such a
hated
liar.
her as
Like,
a child.
she sings on this and tells everybody that I abused her. Like,
You really did.
you're a liar. You're straight
That's
up lying to the
actually,
people.
that is what I recall, and so that's my truth.
Okay, and we'll just leave it at that.
So yeah, just keep having an open mindset and communicate. you know?
And being open to having those difficult conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So who is this week's Sissy shout outs? Yeah.
This week, I would like to shout out, or we would like to shout out Russell from Yes Production. He sponsored our event last week, which was
Setting the lights,
Yeah.
the tone, the ambience, and making it just so beautiful. So Russell, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for
thank you for always showing up.
Yeah, always showing up. Yeah. Especially for Chelsea's girls and everything. Like, you really are
Uncle
a
Russ.
big up yourself,
Yeah.
Uncle. Yeah. So, and as usual, we want to big up our tingalings. Yes, we are going with it.
So keep sipping on tea.
And spilling truth. See you soon.